The young and the restless viewers have been scratching their heads over the latest casting shakeups. We know that Abby was taken off contract, meaning she'll barely be around, but we cannot help but wonder, why is Devon still sticking around? He's married to Abby. Wouldn't it make sense for them to exit together, or at least give him a proper storyline? Devon Hamilton was last truly active in a major storyline when he and Abby tied the knot, and since then, his presence has been somewhat unsteady. While there seems to be something brewing for him in the Nate and Damien storyline, the details remain unclear. One thing is clear: Devon's role on The Young and the Restless extends beyond just being Abby's husband. On the other hand, Abby's character had little left to keep her on the canvas. Her mother, Ashley, is off in France. Even her own powerful Newman family treats her like an afterthought. Her exit makes sense. Devon's continued presence raises eyebrows for some fans on Reddit. However, this all will get better now that Melissa Ordway is making her highly anticipated return. The actress has been playing Victor and Ashley's daughter since 2013. However, after portraying the role for more than a decade, her contract status was bumped to recurring. Now, with Ordway back at work, the million-dollar question is, what's next for Abby? The popular star took to Instagram to reveal that she's back on set filming for the CBS soap. She shared several pictures from the Newman Ranch and Society. Ordway posed for a photo with fellow co-stars, Eric Braeden and Christian LeBlanc. So it looks like viewers will also get to see Devon also in action along with her wife. Hey everyone! Welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video. Looks like the next 2 weeks in Genoa City are going to be filled with striking drama and unexpected twists. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest Jack Abbott will make a shocking confession that can be unsettling for everyone. Surprisingly, Billy Abbott and Nick Newman will be seen together working on a rescue mission. Meanwhile, Phyllis and Sharon's captivity drama will take a truly dangerous turn. To know more and all the details, keep scrolling. The upcoming week seems very difficult for Sharon and Phyllis, who are still stuck in captivity. To find Phyllis an antidote after she was poisoned, Sharon will solve a riddle. But instead of things settling down, there will be more trouble coming their way. Phyllis and Sharon will be falling into the kidnapper's reckless plan, which will only intensify this situation, pointing towards something big. Meanwhile, Nick and Billy will hop in the car, likely to track down both the girls in captivity with the help of the latest clue given by chance. Are Sharon and Phyllis going to reunite with their loved ones soon? Meanwhile, Victor Nguyen is a bit concerned about Adam making certain choices, as they might fit well with Victor's plan to fight against Billy Abbott's new venture. Passion, drama, and romance taking the center stage in Genoa City. Summer will try to get any information Chance has to offer about her mother while he tries to console her. But it is Kyle who has her heart. She will go to any length to get back with Kyle, even after him warning her to be within her limits, and not to cause another problem keeping Claire in the equation. Summer, being herself, will again catch Kyle's attention by ruining his and Claire's date. Claire, on the other hand, will have a flirtatious encounter with Holden Novak at GCAC bar. Is a new love equation in making. On the other end of Genoa City, Alan Laurent will leave Tracy Abbott awestruck, telling her that he would ask her to marry him right away if he had a shot. Jack will be worried about Tracy moving ahead with Alan Wade too fast and will confess something to Diane. So it looks Jack is concerned about his sister. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of March 17 to 21, 2025. Lily is falling Damien. The Young and the Restless spoilers also suggest a huge revelation. Paranoid twin brother of Alan, Martin Laurent might have swapped places with him when they last met in Paris. If this is true, Tracy will definitely end up anguished. There is major drama unfolding in Genoa City in the coming weeks. Phyllis and Sharon might get their freedom back, and the identity of the captor will be revealed ultimately, but it will not be as easy as it seems. Nate might have the same feelings for the new sibling, whereas Lily realizes she is falling for Damien. But the question is, can she really trust him, and is he the one for her? There's so much brewing in the town. What are your thoughts on it? What's really going on with Holden and me? I don't know what you mean, Audra claims as Nate looks down at her in the dining room of the athletic club. Sitting down, he explains he caught the look between them and sensed there was something they wanted to keep private. She explains that's all Holden. He is desperate for a friend and wants it to be her. She's only humoring him to get information on Damien. Nate says he trusts her but adds that if there was anything more going on with Holden, she could tell him. He knows how hard it can be to be open about an old flame to a new man. When she offers to fill him in on what she's learned, he suggests they do it at his place. Amy will be in Chicago for a while, and Audra thinks he should hear what she's learned before she tells Amy. When Audra and Nate arrive at the penthouse, she notices that Amy forgot her scarf and worries that it will be chilly in Chicago. He explains Amy was a bit flustered to be rushed off to Chicago for tests, but there's no time to waste. They just hope his doctor friend can help. Once he pours them drinks, they take a seat and she fills him in on the changing dynamic between Damien and Holden. At first, they were friends, and then Damien became his boss, leaving Holden answering to him and not feeling equal. It sounds like Holden resents Damien for treating him like an employee first and a friend second. It appeared to Audra that Damien came down on Holden earlier. She adds that he told her his boss has a bad temper. Nate wonders if Holden clued into her looking for information. A spotlight on his brother is the last thing he wants right now. Lily has been digging too, and he's afraid that Damien will be scared off if he discovers people are rummaging around in his life. Audra asks what Lily discovered, and Nate explains that his half-brother lied about owning 2 companies and is only a CEO. She's sure that keeping up so many lies must be taking a toll on him. She adds that Nate may be too emotionally involved to be objective about this. Nate will admit that he's not entirely ready to trust his brother, but he wants to. Audra suggests he's too optimistic, but points to how much good this is doing for Amy. She's sure he'd also like a brother. While Nate should follow his instincts, he should also be cautious. He's sure he's seen glimpses of a good man behind Damien's facade. Audra advises caution about letting Damien into their lives until they know more. Nate insists that what matters is how much more positive Amy has become. He's determined to make her reconciliation with her son happen. Audra worries that Damien could hurt Amy or Nate. Hastings is confident that the reunion will change Damien for the better. Maybe they will all get burned, but he wants to hold on to the hope that they can be a real family. She repeats that she doesn't want them hurt. Nate needs to believe the best. He's not sure he or Amy could handle another bombshell. Nick stops by Billy's new place to ask for a list of contacts Phyllis might have linked up with. Billy already thought of that and made the calls. They didn't pan out. They agree that something is wrong here. Handing Nick a beer, Billy urges him to take a minute and think. As they sit, Billy admits it took him a while to admit to himself that Phyllis could be in real trouble. Nick says it's normal to think she's gone AWOL given her history. They speculate on whether the 2 women were kidnapped. Billy asks how sure Nick is that Ian Ward is dead. Nick admits that's the first name that popped into his head when he considered a kidnapping, but he saw him get shot and knows he was cremated. Given that Phyllis and Sharon both called from burner phones, Billy assumes they must be together. Since Heather's death, the animosity between them is at its peak, so it can't be voluntary. Nick knows Sharon has issues but insists she is in a good place. He believes neither woman is out for revenge at the moment. Chance has been calling clinics, but the waiting is becoming too much for Nick. After all this family has been through lately, this is only taking it to another level. He gulps beer before admitting that he blames himself for this, even if that makes no sense. Whenever Nick thinks his family is ready to heal, something else hits them. It leaves him wondering what he's missing. Seeing how torn up the kids are makes it hard for him to imagine reaching the other side of this. He has people in his corner, but still feels the weight. Billy urges him to cut himself some slack. Nick knows Phyllis gives him a hard time for writing to Sharon's rescue, but he suspects she wants the same thing. Offering him his help, Billy muses on the irony of them coming together like this given their history. As Nick gets up to leave, he insists to Billy that this was not a bonding moment between them. He gets a call from the ranch security team, who explain they checked all the CCTV footage but came up empty. He's going to call the family to see if they've heard anything and heads out. Damn it, where are you? Billy wonders. In the basement of the medical clinic, Sharon fusses over a series of cue cards. Exercising, Phyllis mocks her, joking she must be writing a bucket list. She tries to guess what would be on it. Likely something having to do with her kids. Maybe one last goodbye or snuggle. That's certainly what would be on Phyllis' list. Sharon snipes that makes sense since she didn't get that moment with them after she faked her death. Phyllis throws Sharon's history in her face too and suggests that she would do something self-sacrificing like give away her money so everyone could admire her generosity. I'd go out with a bang. Phyllis says, sure that Sharon would too. She's also sure that Sharon would want to be saved by her knight in shining armor once again. Sharon does not doubt that Phyllis would be happy to have Nick burst in there as well. As Phyllis practices her lunges, she continues to taunt Sharon for wasting her time trying to solve the riddle. She complains that what she's doing isn't helping. Participating in the game isn't getting them anywhere. Maybe the goal isn't for them to survive, but only to entertain their captor. They bicker, and then Sharon complains about how hard it is to solve the latest riddle. This makes Phyllis laugh. She brags that she figured it out by her 5th jumping jack and refuses to tell Sharon the answer. For all she knows, the game they are playing could be winner take all, so why should she share what she knows? She wouldn't hesitate to leave Sharon behind. Besides, she thinks the answer is a completely ridiculous concept. Getting up, Sharon urges her to grow up and stop playing the mean girl because their lives are on the line. After Sharon nags her some more, Phyllis finally caves. Forgiveness, that's the answer, she says. Sharon doesn't see how that's ridiculous. Phyllis says it will never happen after all Sharon did to her family and Heather's body. When Sharon brings up the things she'd have to forgive Phyllis for, the redhead dismisses that as ancient history. Once she declares this boring, Sharon continues trying to figure things out. When she suggests they try forgiveness for a chance to get out of there, Phyllis claims she would rather die and be eaten by rats. Sharon continues looking for clues among her cue cards, and Phyllis gulps down another bottle of water. What is the motivation? Sharon speculates. All of this seems to be the work of someone trying to prove how brilliant they are. If they could only figure out what the goal is, Phyllis is sure the goal is just to torture them. She yells at the intercom that they are tortured. They bicker about Phyllis spending all her time doing exercises and rehashing what Sharon did to Daniel. When Sharon reminds her she was drugged, Phyllis accuses her of taking no responsibility and declares she will never forgive. What if it's the only way out of here? Sharon asks. Phyllis knows she could lie, but the freak would figure it out. She starts to shiver as she rambles and then doubles over, blurting out that she's nauseous. As Phyllis panics that she is being poisoned, Sharon calls to the intercom, pleading for help. When she yells that Phyllis needs medical attention, the intercom rings. The voice comes on, saying that they'd better start searching for the antidote, and taunting that they may be making good on their threat, since Phyllis isn't progressing through the game as she was commanded. As Phyllis shudders and groans in pain, Sharon begs for another clue. The voice returns to say, I am the beginning and the end, though you can't see me. Sharon was hoping for something more direct, but no luck. She continues searching as Phyllis whimpers. Eventually, Sharon decides it must be the water and finds one bottle that has a sticker on it. It made Phyllis sick in the beginning, will end the pain, and you can't see it because it's clear. She prompts Phyllis to drink it. Back at the penthouse, Audra urges Nate to let her continue playing Holden to get information on Damien. He's reluctant, so she teases that he may be jealous, which would prove their relationship is important to him. Nate hopes he doesn't need to act jealous for her to know that. They kiss. This arouses her appetite, and she suggests they get pizza. When she grabs her phone, she sees a text from Holden that reads, "At the airport. Sorry about bailing on lunch. Still need a friend." Audra shows it to Nate and asks how he wants her to respond. Taking her phone, he texts, "You've got one." Summer causes a rift between Kyle and Claire. Will the couple pass the test to which their romance is put? Holden is single and ready to mingle, so it's about time that he broadened his horizons in Genoa City. Phyllis' captor forces her to make a tough decision. Interesting, but not Sharon. Maybe the voice is trying to divide and conquer. Phyllis and Sharon take control, which will be a neat trick indeed, considering that they are victims of a double kidnapping. Maybe it's not as over as we thought between two exes when Chance comforts Summer. Tracy shares surprising news with Jack. If it's a shock, it can't be that she and Alan are engaged, because that would totally make sense for the trajectory of their relationship. Young and Restless spoilers for Thursday, March 13. Victor questions Adam's decision-making, surely with his usual emphasis on criticism versus constructive criticism. Phyllis and Sharon were only in control for a hot minute. Now they fall into a trap. Jack makes a confession to Diane. Sounds like we're coming up on the big climax of the abduction story that Michelle Stafford and Sharon Case told us about, because Sharon and Phyllis are fighting for their lives today. Chance shares a lead with Billy and Nick. Yup, time to swoop in and bring the hostages home. As a dyed-in-the-wool schemer, the young and the restless Audra knows better than to think that her and Holden's secret can remain a secret for very long. Yet in the Monday, March 10 episode, she continues to cover her tracks with significant other Nate. As if, whatever she is hiding, he wouldn't understand. Dude slept with his cousin's girlfriend and then cheated on her with his future boss. He'd be in no position to judge anyone. The obvious guess is that Audra and Holden were involved. Zuleika Silver has even admitted that the powers that be told her what went down between them was more intense than a mere fling. And Holden himself has mentioned that Audra owes him after he helped her out back in LA. Something to do with former boss Tucker, it's been implied. But how does that all add up to something that she feels the need to keep from Nate? He has a past, and so does she. While we wait to find out what's so scandalous in Audra and Holden's history, his future is looking up. On Tuesday, March 11, he's about to remind Genoa City that he's not only single, he's ready to mingle. But which lovely lady will catch his eye? Summer is busy gravitating back toward Kyle. Lily is preoccupied with Damien. Sally is all in with Billy, and so is Chelsea with Adam. Abby is still in the honeymoon period with Devon, but on second thought, maybe that makes Victor and Ashley's daughter the perfect candidate to turn Holden's head. A happily married couple is one that spends all its time on the back burner. Our hope, though, is that Holden will cross paths with Nate and Devon's ex, Elena, who has been in storyline Siberia for far too long. Imagine if smooth operator Holden really fell for the doc, only to have her shut him right down, recognizing a manipulative player when she sees one. Would he be able to rise to the occasion and prove worthy of Elena, or would his and Audra's secret convince the MD that her initial impression of him was the right one? We'd love to find out. Phyllis fell gravely ill on the Monday, March 10 episode of The Young and the Restless. Sharon freaked out. Their captor gloated, But is anything with Phyllis ever what it seems? Here are 3 plays she could be making to gain the upper hand over them all. Phyllis was so tired of the conversation she and Sharon were having about Phyllis forgiving Sharon that she faked illness just to stop talking. We suspected it was play acting when she claimed to be nauseous, but acted like she had cramps and then screamed that her stomach was on fire. Those are 3 different things. You'd think a person who was actually sick would be consistent. This is actually a plot Sharon and Phyllis came up with together in order to throw their captor off guard. They faked the fight about how they'd never get along. After all, are we supposed to believe they'd really be having the same conversation repeatedly? To what purpose? To lull their kidnapper into thinking his plan was working while they were really in control and getting answers out of him simultaneously. Phyllis wasn't really sick, but they figured if the guard thought she was, he'd get cocky and accidentally let something slip about who he was and what he wanted. And then there's the soap standby. Nausea of soaps can only mean one thing: Phyllis is pregnant. Sure, she's the mother of 2 grown kids, a grandmother twice over, if you count Summer always claiming Harrison as, my son, my son, my son. But Phyllis is still young and virile. Did you see her doing all those jumping jacks? Phyllis is totally vibrant enough to get pregnant. And this isn't poison at all. For the Tuesday, March 11 episode of The Young and the Restless, spoilers photos show worry and tension rising as the mysterious disappearance of Phyllis and Sharon has everyone on edge. Nick grabs a table with Victoria at Society. He's worried sick about the women he loves and what's going on with them. Victoria is too, of course. They both know something like this can go. It's time for Nick to trust his gut and follow his instincts. He knows Sharon and Phyllis better than anyone. If he's starting to panic, then everyone needs to panic. It won't be too long before Daniel and Chance join the pair. Unfortunately, Chance isn't all smiles. There's a look on his face that has us wondering if a clue is about to drop. The town's top cop doesn't startle easily, but it looks like he's about to share something that will have everyone in shock. The Young and the Restless recap for Monday, March 10, sees Phyllis poised while Sharon searches for the antidote, and Billy and Nick worry about them. Plus, Nate takes charge when Holden messages Audra for friendship. At the Genoa City Athletic Club, Nate asked Audra about Holden. She insisted the situation was all Holden's doing, though he claimed he needed a friend and wanted it to be her. Audra wasn't interested but admitted he was their only way to learn more about Damien. Back at the penthouse, they discussed Amy's strength and hoped Nate's doctor friend could help her. Audra shared that Holden said they were friends until he started working for Damien. She suspected Holden resented him and noted Damien's bad temper. Nate said that Lily had been investigating. He worried Damien would flee if he found out, which would be bad for Amy. He also said that Damien was only a CEO and not a business owner. They wondered why he lied. Nate worried that too many people were prying, which could ruin everything. He still hoped for a relationship with his half-brother. Audra advised caution while they gathered more information. Nate remained determined to facilitate a reconciliation for Amy's sake. Audra promised to keep investigating discreetly, but Nate objected to her using Holden for information. She teased that he might be jealous, proving their relationship mattered. They kissed. When Holden texted Audra apologizing and asking for friendship, Nate replied for her, agreeing to it. Meanwhile, in a basement, Phyllis exercised and accused Sharon of making a bucket list. They bickered, with Phyllis mocking Sharon's past. Sharon urged Phyllis to help solve their captor's riddles, but Phyllis refused, claiming she had already figured them out. When Sharon pushed, Phyllis revealed the answer was forgiveness. However, Phyllis said she would rather die than forgive Sharon. Sharon continued searching for clues. Their conversation turned to past betrayals, and Phyllis insisted she would never forgive Sharon. Suddenly, Phyllis doubled over in pain, fearing she had been poisoned. Sharon called for help, and their captor told her to find the antidote. As Phyllis moaned in agony, she apologized. Sharon searched frantically and eventually found a water bottle with a sticker and assumed it was the antidote. Falling apart elsewhere, Nick visited Billy to discuss Phyllis' disappearance. Billy had already made calls, but agreed something was wrong. They speculated about possible kidnappers, including Ian Ward, but Nick was certain Ian had been cremated. They decided that Phyllis and Sharon were likely taken together. Nick was frustrated and felt the family was falling apart again. Billy reminded him to be kinder to himself. As they discussed their next steps, ranch security called to report that there were no leads from surveillance footage. Nick left to check in with others. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, March 11, put Phyllis on the hot seat, where she needs to decide between helping herself or helping someone else. Knowing Phyllis, that should be a pretty easy call. Phyllis is not enjoying being locked up with Sharon. She was willing to break a window and scream until Sharon advised her not to, and so did the creepy voice watching them at all times. Sharon and Phyllis can't figure out if the goal of holding them prisoner is to put them at each other's throats or to force them to hug it out. Neither one seems to be happening at the moment. So now it's time to play the two hostages against each other. Phyllis has a chance to make a move that might save herself at Sharon's expense. Phyllis has proven herself capable of sacrificing her own children in order to get her way. Are we really supposed to think she'd need to think it over for more than a minute when it comes to throwing Sharon under a bus? Possibly literally. Summer will tell anyone willing to listen that she has no problem with Kyle dating Claire. Summer doesn't want Kyle. She only wants them to be wonderful co-parents to Harrison. Claire is always welcome, whenever they can fit her into their very busy, very happy family schedule. But not that Kyle or Claire asked. Here are some concerns she has about their burgeoning relationship. Oh, does this upset them? Summer most certainly didn't mean to do that. First, Holden pretended to be Damien. Then, he pretended not to know Audra. Now he's ready to do something sincere, and just for himself. The Young and the Restless star Michelle Stafford is always getting glammed up as Phyllis. Fans are used to seeing Phyllis wearing her one-shoulder dresses and her makeup being flawless. However, for her current storyline, the actress opted for a different look. Phyllis and her longtime rival Sharon are in a dangerous predicament. The two are being held captive by a mysterious kidnapper in a dingy room. For the past few weeks, Phyllis and Sharon have worn the same clothes while in captivity. The women are already looking frazzled with their tired expressions and disheveled hair. It's a far cry from their glamorous styles, but their unkempt appearance adds to the drama of the kidnapping storyline. Stafford even decided to up the ante by not using makeup for filming. In an Instagram post, the actress shared her decision to go au naturel. Current storyline. Stafford began the caption, "Thanks, I decided to go real for this story. I may regret my decision." Phyllis and Sharon have been put through the ringer thanks to their captor. But the good news is they won't be in the room too much longer. According to Stafford's post, the kidnapping story will wrap up in the next 2 weeks. The characters will be happy to be free and reunited with their families. They'll also be glad to get out of their old clothes and freshen up. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of March 10 to 14 hint at some explosive bombshells on the horizon. As fans know, Geno City can be a revolving door where characters come and go, only to return again. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Beth Maitland will reprise her Tracy Abbott character, while Christopher Cousins will reprise his Alan Laurent role as the super couple makes a splashing return during the Wednesday, March 12 episode. Expect to see Trowlin in some scenes with Jack Abbott and Diane Abbott during the show as two couples go on a double dinner date. In added teasers, Tracy is slated to share some good news with her brother, and it sounds like the word marriage will be part of this announcement. Is this the happily ever after viewers have been waiting for where Tracy is concerned, Or could there be danger looming? After all, there are some audience members out there who still feel as if Alan could be his evil twin brother, Martin. Could this be the case? Fans will have to tune in to see what happens next. More airtime for Chance Chancellor. Actor Connor Floyd is not on contract with the show. However, this may be hard to tell as Chance Chancellor continues to dominate screen time, which is a great thing for him and his fans. Chance will be seen during the Wednesday, March 12 episode as he comforts his ex, Summer Newman. He'll also be seen during the Friday, March 14 show as he updates Nick Newman and Billy Abbott on a lead surrounding Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman's disappearance. Can these three men bring the ladies home already? The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks are here. From March 10 to 21, fans can expect Holden Novak and Claire Grace Newman to connect. Phyllis Summers is poisoned. Plus, Chance Chancellor gets a lead, which prompts Nick Newman and Billy Abbott to go on a frantic rescue mission. Just when Sharon Newman is convinced the captor wants them to forgive one another, something terrible happens. Phyllis is suddenly extremely nauseated and doubles over in pain. That leaves Sharon scrambling to find out what's wrong. The mysterious captor lets Phyllis know that since she doesn't want to play the game, then there's no reason to keep her around. Of course, Sharon isn't going to let Phyllis die. Sharon frantically solves a riddle and gets Phyllis the antidote. Not that Phyllis will appreciate it. That won't be the only danger, though. Throughout the week, the captor plays games with Phyllis and Sharon. Each side gets the upper hand at least once, but what will be the final outcome? Chance Chancellor's lead. Over with Chance. He finally gets a lead on the missing women. Chance shares the intel with Billy and Nick. Of course, this probably leads to Billy and Nick saving the day. Phyllis made an interesting comment about how Sharon was expecting Nick to burst through the door and save the day. Sounds like that just might happen. Summer Newman's victory. Over with Summer Newman, she sabotages Claire's special night with Kyle Abbott. While Claire is all dressed up waiting for Kyle, she gets a strong drink at the bar. That is when Holden approaches Claire, so where will this chance meeting lead? As for Alan Laurent, he seems to have marriage in mind. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks reveal that Phyllis and Sharon might finally get out of captivity. There could be lasting effects, though. Could the experience also change how Sharon and Phyllis view each other? There are some hints that things could go sour with Tracy and Alan. Maybe Jack Abbott will worry that Tracy is moving too fast with Alan. Elsewhere, there should be some more bombshells about Damien Kane. There is also Damien's dynamic with Lely Winters. Damien might not be the bad guy some fans think, but Holden is starting to concern me. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Damien Kane ordered Holden Novak back to Los Angeles. However, Holden runs into Claire Grace Newman, who is alone at the bar. Could Holden and Claire have a love connection? Does Kyle Abbott have competition? Claire Grace Newman's romance. Fans have watched Claire get closer to Kyle the past few months. Now that Claire is no longer Harrison Abbott's nanny, she is openly dating Kyle. Summer Newman does cause complications once in a while. However, for the most part, Claire seems really happy. As for Kyle, he keeps putting down boundaries with Summer, so he must be happy in his romance as well. The only person who seems to have an issue with Kyle and Claire is Victor Newman. Damien Kane's orders. Over with Damien. He ordered Holden to get back to the offices in Los Angeles. Holden didn't seem to like being told what to do. Holden's resentment toward Damien was even sensed by Audra Charles, who shared it with Nate Hastings. It seemed Holden was planning on doing what Damien ordered. Damien even sent Audra a text to say he was about to board his flight. Holden Novak's connection. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that if Holden is about to board a plane back to LA, then what is he doing watching Claire at a bar? That's what the preview clip suggests for the week of March 10, 2025. Not only does Holden watch Claire, but he decides to broaden his horizons. Then, the preview clip shows Claire commenting to herself about the strong drink. Claire is caught off guard when Holden responds to her comment. Kyle Abbott's romantic competition? Claire would never cheat on Kyle. However, Claire might find herself drawn to Holden. Maybe Claire and Holden will find they have a lot in common. While Holden is supposed to return to Leh, he did plan on coming back to Genoa City. Could Holden suddenly forget all about Audra and go after Claire? While Summer wants to get close to Kyle again, he's focused on Claire. So what happens when Claire's attention is torn? Could that make Kyle fight even harder to win Claire's heart? Or could Kyle just turn back to his former flame? The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Alan Laurent was involved in an identity swap with his demented brother Martin. Alan won, with Martin perishing in Paris, France. The ominous introduction of Aristotle Dumas intentionally leaves many plot possibilities open. Assuming the spelling of the last name is correct based on unconfirmed speculation, Dumas has an interesting origin. It's a French surname. It could be a pure coincidence that the reclusive billionaire businessman has a French name, but soap writers often work with intention. So, whether Alan survived or Martin did and has been posing as him, might Aristotle be the mask he's been hiding behind for years? Tracy Abbott hasn't had an easy path through the soap years. Lauren Fenmore notoriously harassed her in daytime days gone by, believing that she was beneath her socially. Various trials and tribulations with suitors and husbands, including Danny Romalotti, Brad Carlton, and Steve Connolly, played out. Her marriage to Brad created Tracy's only child, the late and beloved Colleen Carlton, who drowned. Alan was introduced through his friendship with Ashley Abbott, while Davidson's character was seeking mental health treatment from him in Paris. That led to his eventual arrival in Genoa City, Wisconsin, and his quick fall into love with Tracy. It would be terrible for her if Alan didn't prove to be who he claimed to be. Alan Laurent's true purpose in Genoa City. This feel-good story has included the Clyde black cloud hanging over it because of the natural Martin speculation. Alan's unstable brother pretended to be him and confronted Alan in Paris. The brothers fought and fell out of a window onto the ground below. While they weren't high up, Alan is believed to have lived because he landed on top of his brother. But the entire sequence wasn't shown to the audience, and that felt purposeful. The above allowed real doubt to be injected into the fans' minds. Anyone would wonder if an identical twin impersonating his brother and was considered nefarious survived the fall. Martin could have survived and has pretended to be Alan ever since. Aristotle Dumas has no backstory. It's often interesting when a new character is introduced. How that's handled adds to the intrigue and gives viewers a hint of what's to come. In this instance, Aristotle is said to be a recluse who has never been seen. This person is believed to be a guy. Assuming that's true, Martin could be this person. However, if instability is a family trait, a different shocker means that Alan survived the fall and is also Aristotle. He could have lived a double life for years or posed as a doctor while growing his global conglomerate. Aristotle's missing backstory allows the writers to fill it in as they like. It also means that the audience can speculate, connecting Alan or Martin to him until this theory is proven wrong. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease a terrifying twist for Sharon Newman and Phyllis Summers. The captor's scary twist will bring a fight to survive, so let's discuss what Phyllis and Sharon will be up against. A twisted psycho playing a game with lives at stake. Right from the start, Sharon and Phyllis' abductor made it clear that the stakes couldn't be higher. They were informed that the only rule that held any weight was that the game was paramount, and the ultimate reward was their survival. Yet, it seems that Sharon and Phyllis are on the brink of breaking free from the constraints imposed upon them. This might prove to be a perilous choice, as their captor is particularly fixated on the strict guidelines established. When Phyllis suffers from poisoning while in their captor's clutches, the chilling reality of their situation will become undeniably clear. Sharon is on the brink of unraveling a puzzling riddle to secure the antidote for Phyllis, but as the pressure mounts, they'll come to the stark realization. That's the realization that they urgently need a solid escape plan and fast. However, it looks like their predicament is about to take a sinister turn as they're walking straight into a trap. Their captor might devise a challenge to test their resolve, but there's a looming danger that they could stumble and lose everything. If the kidnapper declares it game over due to their inability to follow the rules, panic will likely engulf both Sharon and Phyllis, triggering dire consequences they never saw coming. Is there a hidden bomb? What if there's a bomb hidden away in that room? The ticking clock might start once Sharon and Phyllis stumble into that perilous situation we've discussed. Regardless of what happens, the latest teasers reveal that Phyllis and Sharon will soon be engulfed in a desperate battle for their lives. Teaming up will be essential as they strive to endure long enough to escape this chaos. Naturally, it's likely that these dangerous challenges will remain a key aspect of the game. This might be a cunning ploy orchestrated by the mastermind behind this operation, designed to heighten the stakes and compel Phyllis to genuinely collaborate with Sharon. Regardless of the intent, both Sharon and Phyllis will undoubtedly feel as though they are facing greater peril than ever before. The latest episode of The Young and the Restless is set to air on March 10, 2025. This episode will feature high drama as Audra tries to save herself by covering her tracks. Meanwhile, Nick and Billy join forces despite their personal differences to trace Sharon and Phyllis. In the recent episodes, The Young and the Restless has delivered dramatic events and shocking revelations, shaking things up in Genoa City. Sally made arrangements for Billy's small gathering, while Lily revealed that Damien did not own the companies he talked about. In the meantime, Nick met Summer at Crimson Lights to comfort her about Sharon's disappearance. Later, Claire questioned Victor about his recent actions, sparking tension between personal and professional issues. With family ties at stake, fans are eager to see what happens next on the American soap opera. The Young and the Restless first premiered in March 1973, making it one of the longest-running shows in American daytime television history. The show is set in the fictional Genoa City and revolves around the family feud between the Abbotts and the Newmans. In Monday's episode, airing on March 10, 2025, Sharon and Phyllis are still locked up together. Throughout their captivity, they have shouted at each other, threatened each other, and accused each other of being terrible mothers. However, they have not yet figured out why they are being held prisoner or what they need to do to escape. As fans of the show know, Nick and Billy have numerous reasons to dislike each other. Billy has been trying to bring down Nick's father for a long time. It does not seem that Billy has any chance of defeating Victor, but their awkward engagements and altercations have created an air of hatred between the two. Billy is set to go into business with Phyllis, but he cannot seem to find her. Nick has a daughter with Phyllis, and even he cannot find her or Sharon. Therefore, Billy and Nick decide to team up to achieve their common goal of locating Sharon and Phyllis. By putting their differences aside, the two of them join forces and start hunting for clues. Meanwhile, Audra tries to cover her tracks with Nate to save herself. In an attempt to gain immunity, Audra claims that she told Nate everything about her past life with Holden. Although she informed Nate about her brief relationship with Holden, she later admits to Sally that she may have held a few things back. It seems that Audra is trying to control the damage that has already been done. She is trying as hard as possible to cover her deeds by hiding details about her past actions. With their relationship at stake, fans wonder whether she will be able to hide the truth or ultimately get exposed. As fans of The Young and the Restless wait to find out what happens on the episode releasing on Monday, March 10, 2025, there have been reports of other major developments in the show's storyline. In the upcoming episodes, Summer causes a serious disagreement between Kyle and Claire. The kidnapper of Phyllis and Sharon compels Phyllis to make a difficult decision. Later, Chance comforts a devastated Summer, while Sharon and Phyllis take control of the situation. By the end of the week, Victor criticizes Adam's decision-making ability. Jack makes a shocking confession to Diane, while Phyllis and Sharon fall into another trap. As the two fight for their survival, Chance provides a lead to Billy and Nick. Besides anticipating the upcoming twists and turns, fans are eager to learn about the ultimate fate of Sharon and Phyllis. Additionally, with tensions rising high, fans wait to see how Billy and Nick's partnership turns out. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.